Okay, we're back. Apologies. I've had to change camera because my phone's gone flat. It's good preparation. Try and start these things with a flat battery. So I won't lie to you, what I did, I put it in just a few moments ago and I had the system error. So I had a little closer look, and what I realised is the ribbon cable for the new touchscreen can go this way or that way, obviously, and I had it upside down, so the insulation was against the copper terminals. So now I've done that, let's turn the radio on and see if we get anything. No system error, that's a good start. Now you can see the touchscreen is not quite aligned at the moment. And if I press menu, do I get anything? Oh, we do. So we're currently on BRFM. Let's see if radio 2 works. I'm not sure if that is working. Yes, what have we got here? Pop music, BBC Radio 2. Excellent. Menu again. Smooth in Kent. Oh, it's obviously slightly misaligned at the moment because of the way I'm holding it. So the next thing to decide is how we're going to remove the old touchscreen and how we're going to adhesive this one to it. But there is definitely working items on there now, so that's pretty cool. So put you on pause again and we'll have a little closer look at how we can mount this screen. So back inside, I think what I'll do to start with is remove the touchscreen again to get it out of the way so we don't damage it, and then we'll look at ways of getting this old one off. So turn the radio unit over, screen unit over. Never easy one-handed. I'm going to pause it for a second. That's it over with the T10 screwdriver again. Undo the 2 screws that I put in. Apologies for the noise in the background because I'm talking to you guys. My African grey parrot is feeling left out and wants to join in. So let's remove that again. So this is the bit I was saying that I changed. If you notice, it's brown and insulated one side and gold copper connections the other. I had them round the wrong way. The good thing is now that this ribbon is pretty much in line where the old one was. So these touchscreens must be very similar to what they are. So I'm going to take that off again. Gentle pull. Remove the cable. And I'll put that back on the box. What we need to think about doing is removing this touchscreen. In fact, what I'm going to do is remove the circuit board as well to make life a bit easier. If I do look a bit clumsy, it's because I'm trying to do this through the camera. It's never easy. And then I can remove the circuit board, watching for the little ribbon where it catches, as we did before. Put that up there with the touch screen, and that's that. Say when you're going to press it. So what I've done now, looking at the screen, I can see that the unit is put on with a double-sided adhesive of some sort. So without damaging the actual LCD, I'm going to try and trim out the adhesive so I can remove the screen. Some of it's a bit stickier than others. Well, start seeing the extent of the actual cracking now that was caused. through. Doesn't want to come out. I'm starting to get some separation now between the two units. That's probably why it broke so easily. It's actually glass, not plastic. The new one is plastic both sides. I don't know if that's going to cause us any problems in winter time when the moisture gets in the air and the car gets very cold. I'm sure I'll update you on that if that's the case. The last section out. We're nearly there now. It's not something you'd want to do every day, is it? But £875 from Peugeot seems a bit extreme. Extreme costs, brilliant extreme measures. Good job we don't need that, because I've just broke it. I think that's it out. So it literally was a bit of double-sided adhesive with the screen attached to it. So I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to clean this residue off. So it's a nice clean surface to work on. Make sure the screen has got none of my fingerprints on it, because once the touchscreen goes on you won't be able to clean that again. And I'll be back to you. So what I'm doing here, I've realised that you can't peel it off, but it seems to be the best way to just rub your thumb along it. Obviously making sure you don't get too much pressure on the actual LCD screen, because if you damage that, then you will be down the full replacement screen route. I'm going to clean that all the way up, and then I'll be back with you. And coming up to the final part, it actually comes off fairly easy. One thing to be cautious of, there's little shards of glass in there. Depending on obviously how bad your screen was cracked, you will get filaments of glass in there. Now you can see, hopefully on the camera, there's a few little bits of this adhesive, so we want to make sure that they're gone completely. So with the brush off, and up here, I don't know if you can see, there's a fingerprint of mine, and we want to clear that off. So I'm going to clear the desk. I have some window cleaning fluid. I'll put that on a tissue and clean that. So let me just clear the desk and I'll be back.
Go.
So a little bit of a clearer surface now. I've actually mounted the back in. I haven't screwed it in, I've just put it there just to give it a better surface to work with. And I'm going to go to the cleaning fluid without putting too much on. Try to clean the screen. Remove all my fingerprints. And once they're off, once they're on there, they'll be on there for good otherwise. This one's quite a good fluid, it evaporates quite quick. Which means too bad at all. And looking like I'm prepared, I have some double-sided tape. It's just pure luck that I had that in the drawer. And what I'm going to do is apply that round the frame again, so we can stick the new screen on. Standing knife to clear off the edges. I shall do that all the way round and I'll be back with you in a second. And final piece. And there. Trim that down. Now the double-sided tape is a bit wider than it needs to be. I can either trim that, leave it. Either way makes no real difference. You're not going to see that behind the screen. Or the screen bezel, I should say. So, looking at this, you'll find a way to position that roughly right. In fact, looking at the frame, there's a little frame around the edge here. It seems to fit pretty perfectly to the square. So what I will do, before I continue, I think I'll trim this excess double-sided tape off. I don't think it's going to do us any good. So I've trimmed off the excess. Might look like it's still the same size, but the actual glue part has been removed. Might help me peel off the other thing. And just making sure there's still no marks on the screen. I'm going to first of all relocate the circuit board on the back. That will line everything up where it should be. The first one is this one here. A little bit tricky. And everything. Tricky one. And one goes in there, so that goes on these two little white things to hold it in place. Take the ribbons into the latch lock ribbon connector, making sure they're clipped all the way home. And doing with this one. As well. As I said earlier, we need to make sure that these gold terminals are the right way round, which means that the screen should sit like so, with the insulation upwards. And looking at the old one, there's just a couple of little notches in there. I don't know if you can see those on the camera. Just to hold it in a little bit tighter, I suppose. These don't have it on the new one, but the actual rest of it looks exactly the same. And as we saw from testing, it does seem to work. I'm going to position that one back in. And push that home. So I'm assuming now if we pull this, it may come out because these little hooks are missing that hold it in. But for the chances of that, it's very slim. The little plastic piece that I said earlier that comes out and goes in here. Look at where that goes. Once I've done that, will go in. Keep everything in place. Tape. That's what that is in the way. The next thing to do is to remove the backing off the touchscreen a little bit anyway, and hopefully don't touch the screen, and remove the adhesive protector from the double-sided tape. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Removing the plastic protector. And then I'm going to try and align this. Too bad, I don't think. Yes. Just going to squeeze that down and be right back with you. So it looks like that's quite nicely positioned. I'm going to put the back panel on the back of the LCD unit. Make sure I found the right one. Now this wire is a little bit longer than the original. I don't know whether that should be pulled through a bit more, it might be better. Leave the excess there, I think that's going to be better for it. Place the unit over the top, and with the T10 screwdriver, close up. And as I said when I opened this earlier, they weren't very tight, and I'm assuming that's to protect the touchscreen, so I'm not going to over tighten them. I'll put them in nice and gentle. Number 4. And just in case anyone's concerned, this is the model number on the back of the touchscreen. A lot of gobbledygook from Peugeot Citroën. But this is a Peugeot 208 2013 model with the touchscreen. I'm assuming this touchscreen would be identical if it had sat-nav. Mine does not. But looking at it from the broken unit, which as you saw earlier when it was on the screen didn't look like it was cracked at all, look at, you can see why it wasn't working. So the next thing, we're going to go and put this back in the vehicle, turn it on, see if it works, remove this additional protective layer, and I think I'm going to treat myself to a screen protector as well this time to prevent this happening again. But so far this has cost us £9.99 UK pounds, shipped from China, arrived within about 10 days or 12 days. Don't need my address in this place. So I'll put you on pause and we're going to try this in the vehicle. So here we are back in the vehicle with the screen, still with its protective layer on. I'm going to mount the plugs and I'll show you that in 1 second. Plugs back in as they were originally, brown on the white one. I'm just going to position the screen into its position, which needs 2 hands, but it will look like that in a second or so. A little bit fiddly to line up. Once it's lined up, I take out Torx screws, I'll hold it in place. Being a little bit overconfident here because I'm putting the screws in without testing the radio, but I think we should do that now. Here's the car. Peugeot badge. No system fault light. Peugeot badge looks like it's there for quite a while. And the radio's there. So we're on Heart UK at the moment. Menu seems to work. Number 1, BRFM. No signal. A little bit more funky music. TF Live. And the volume, which is over here. On the front there's a menu. Touchscreen for here. touchscreen from here. Touchscreen there. Peugeot 205, Peugeot 208 iDrive, 70.5 to the gallon, pretty reliable, good little car when you don't break the touchscreen. So the next thing to do is position these screws, could tighten them up, place the front bezel back on. As I said earlier, it's not screwed in, it's just clipped in, a little bit fiddly. I will do that and I'll be back with you. 2 screws already fitted, radio front bezel, position that in place and click it in. I'll show you it one more time before we finish. Here we are, bezel clip back on, touchscreen, volume button, press menu, screen menu, menu here, choose one of the radio stations that I know we receive in this area. I would say that is a successful working upgrade. £9.99 all in, including delivery from China. £875 apparently from Peugeot to have that replaced. I hope I've saved you some money. Enjoy. The only final thing to do is to remove the protective layer. I should have done this before I fitted the bezel, I think. But I've got hold of a hole, made a little hole in it, got it working. Sticky sides to raster them off. Radio back on. Menu.